Welcome to the daily levels for Wednesday, May 15. It's a quarter till 9 a.m. So we'll come back to this chart after the market closes and take a look at the trades taken in the E-minis based off of these levels. See you then. Well, it was an interesting day. New highs in the spiders, new highs in the E-minis. Got a couple extra lines here, which we'll talk about. Let's move this chart down because they just pretty much went off the screen. So there's a recording of one trade, but in the meantime, let's talk through a couple things because this first one was not recorded. I got to the office, took this one, got everything set up, and it was already on its way up to the next level. So first, what are these other levels? So the levels on the board this morning are just the dark blue, like normal, the ones that I shared. The actual calculated levels this morning, by the way, I had a dentist appointment, some dental work. Half my face is still numb, so I'm probably speaking worse than usual, and it's not that impressive to begin with. Anyway, 525.49, 526, and 526.57. That was these three numbers were calculated numbers, but they were pretty close to each other, 50 cents or so. Excuse me. So this 526.57 was the highest number I had, and so looking at what they did in the pre-market, I wanted something higher. I went with 527.02 for a different reason, and the ironic thing is I took this trade when didn't go all in. I just sold two contracts here and should have. Well, anyway, I was aware these levels were here, but I didn't trade against them. So I'll explain what happened. So they came down into 526. They bounced a little bit, but they pulled up to give a base hit. After a while, I was aware this was down here, so I wasn't too worried. They were out of money a little bit, but so that was the first base hit. I started recording when they came up to here. The ironic thing is here, they got. So here's 526.57, the actual number right out of the calculator based on the formulas that I use. And one of the trader asked in a comment on one of the videos the other day, why do I add a 5 cent buffer? So just here's a good example. So the actual number is 526.57. They got to 526.56 before pulling away. So that would have missed the trade. Like, this level was not on the board this morning. I did not use it to trade, but it was an actual number, as was this. So adding that 5 cent buffer means you would have got pulled into this trade because they spiked it by a few pennies and gave the base hit 4 points. So that's just a good example of what happens more often than not more often, but fairly often. Levels they come up short. And I want to get the levels, so I add that buffer. So anyway, I went short here. It fumbled. I reversed, got a base on the reversal, almost a base. At 1 o'clock, I had to head out to a dentist appointment, and I was out for the rest of the afternoon. Around 4 o'clock or so, finishing up. It was a pretty long procedure. I looked at my phone to see what was going on. I was curious where the spiders would close. I was kind of surprised to see them up this high. And this level here is for another reason. And I've got levels above this. If they continue to go higher, there's a pretty good place for resistance above 530. But that seemed to be their target today, at least. So let's take a look at the recording, and we can talk through some of that. So I'll start playing this, but just again, at this point, this level was already satisfied. Got the base hit there, just 4 points with two contracts. And didn't do anything here. Ignoring this at this point because it had already been traded. So I'm waiting for them to go up here at 526.97. That's the operating level. And I had a trigger in the system to go short with two contracts there. So we'll speed up. I'll scrub ahead and show you. So I'm short the two contracts. And as you know, they did not pull back at this level. And the ironic thing was this was not a formula-derived level. Shouldn't have treated it as such, but it was what it was. Lost a little bit of money. So they went up, and the reversal happened at a certain amount of time. Well, let me back up. There we go. Certain things were present. I reversed, so I lost $1,100 or so on that. But then I put a target up at 5 points instead of 4 points for the reversal if they're going to continue this in the same direction. And it was getting close to 1 by the time they got up there. So I'll scrub ahead and show you. So I jumped out at slightly less, 3.5 points or so. 3.75 points. But they gave the base hit if you just waited long enough, as you'll see. It's getting close to that 5 point mark. I think they even hit 4 points briefly right there. Yeah. So I just jumped out pretty soon and then closed up shop, and that was pretty much it. Nothing else for the rest of the day. I didn't have any levels higher than this anyway, so no more trades. And that was it. Let's take a look at the full day one more time. I don't think I mentioned what this was here. This was just some of my analysis just as I got back and was studying the what the spiders did today, this was actually I left this on the chart. It should have been on a different chart I'm using for analysis. I believe this was one of the Fibonacci price extension levels that I'm looking out after the fact that they, not too surprised that they kind of hugged this level for quite a while. But nothing I traded today. It wasn't on the board. So that was it for the day. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to discuss a zone higher up if that's where they're at. I want to see what the pre-market's like overnight and in the morning. But there's a pretty good place for a short trade if they get there soon. So this first log, playing by the rules, quick base hit early on, and then a fumble, which gave 10.75 points back to the market, and a base on the reversal. There's where you would have ended with the day. Mine was slightly worse because I didn't wait for the full 4 points. Actually, I wanted 5 because I had to head out. So I didn't get as many. So I ended in the red a little bit today, and they continue to climb higher. But anyway, those were the trades for the day. Hope you found that interesting, perhaps learned something. Thanks for watching. We'll do this again tomorrow.